What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer, and the US Men's National Team January camp roster has been released. This is the MLS-only roster in preparation for the January World Cup qualifying window because the MLS is out of season right now and they want to keep guys in shape. It's only a 19-man team, really small. They won't even be able to do full scrimmages with the squad unless they bring in some other players, which they'll probably have like a youth team or something to just be able to get some games going. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty unimpressive squad. I mean, nice to see somebody like Jesús Ferreira, Bassett, Djordje Mihailovic, Gabriel Slonina still in the team, but that's about it for really interesting prospects. In goal, Matt Turner, Slonina, Sean Johnson, basically what we expected. Good to see Slonina still in there. He definitely could have gotten dropped in favor of someone like a Brad Guzan or a Bill Hamid. So it's good to see that we still have some faith in him. Really excited about Gabriel Slonina. In the back, at center back, Aaron Long, Miles Robinson, and Walker Zimmerman. Interesting that Aaron Long is still available because I assume he is going to be playing during this. So I think him being there shows a lot more than it might lead on. The only right back prop was Brooks Lennon, which I'm not sure about. Even in the MLS, I probably wouldn't rate him above someone like an Aaron Herrera, maybe like a Kyle Duncan. So, well, Duncan's moving on, but I don't really get it. George Bello back in the team. DeJuan Jones, I like bringing him in. He had a very good season for New England. I would have liked to see him last window, but interesting that he's called into this one. I don't feel like he's going to end up playing for the national team, but he might be a short-term upgrade on Bello until Bello truly develops to the player that he can be. In the midfield, we got Kellyn, Acosta, Bassett, Djordje Mihailovic, Sebastian Lletget, Cristian Roldan, and Jackson Yueill. Bassett and Mihailovic is pretty good. Bassett definitely has some creativity, some good technical ability. Mihailovic as well. I think this probably means that he isn't going to accept that move to Bologna, or I think that's where he's trialing, or at least something's going to hold up there for a bit. But it's nice to see those two in there because they are two actually talented players, or at least good with their feet enough that I feel confident in them playing. But Acosta, he's a solid defensive midfielder, destroyer type, but probably not good enough to start. Lletget, Roldan, and Yueill, I feel like we just have to move on from now, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Going forward, Jesús Ferreira, really nice to see him as an attacker. Paul Arriola on one wing, yeah, it is what it is. Jordan Morris, I don't think he's recovered from his injury yet, or at least not fully, so I don't feel like he'd have much of a positive contribution at the moment. And Gyasi Zardes, I know he scores some goals against CONCACAF opposition, but I've got the stats right here. 66 caps, 14 goals. If we gave that amount of caps to CJ Sapong, I feel like he'd have the same amount of goals. And I really don't see it with Gyasi Zardes because he's only a goal scorer. He's not in there to link up play or anything. And I don't know. I don't feel like he's good enough. So something that I wanted to touch on with this squad is guys who I think will be in the squad short term. Because long term, Slonina, maybe Bello, Bassett, Mihailovic, that's all there is to say. But in the short term, if we look at a 23-man roster, we have a couple of locks in the team. From Europe, we have Zach Steffen, Chris Richards, Serginho Dest, Anthony Robinson, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Yins Musa. I think Gianluca Busio's on that list now. Every single winger position, Pulisic, Reyna, Aronson, Weah, and Pepe as a striker. And then from the MLS guys, Matt Turner, I think Miles Robinson, Walker Zimmerman are locks now, and probably Kellyn Acosta. So that means up for grabs in a 23-man squad, we have one goalkeeper spot, Sean Johnson, Ethan Horvath, a center back spot, two fullbacks, a center mid, and a striker position. So if I'm looking at battles for this camp, guys who are really going to be looking to prove themselves are probably Sean Johnson. I don't see Gabriel Slonina getting called up, especially due to, the virus still being a thing, and there's a very good chance our third-choice goalkeeper will play. So I feel like the competition's probably between Sean Johnson and Ethan Horvath. At center back, I feel like there's a real competition between Aaron Long and John Brooks. There shouldn't be, but with how much we've been calling in Aaron Long when he's been unavailable to play, I feel like Berhalter is very high on him. I think that him and Brooks have a bit of a rift between them, So I could very easily see Aaron Long coming into this team ahead of John Brooks if he has a good camp. At fullback, I guess George Bello is probably in the mix. I don't think Brooks Lennon is. I really don't think DeJuan Jones is. So I guess it's George Bello and maybe Sam Vines, DeAndre Yedlin, Joe Scally. Fullback's kind of a toss-up beyond Robin. Well, it shouldn't be because Scally should be playing, but I think it might be. At center mid, it's probably a tough situation. I don't think Bassett or Djordje Mihailovic will end up being in the January squad for the full World Cup qualifying. So I feel like it's between Cristian Roldan and Sebastian Lletget, and they're probably competing with Luca De La Torre for that last center mid spot. I'm really hoping De La Torre wins it, but he won't. I mean, we know that. And up front, it's probably Gyasi Zardes competing with Daryl Dike. I think Daryl Dike has been a better MLS striker than Zardes for 2 years now. I don't think Zardes should be in this team over someone like I mentioned, CJ Sapong. I feel like Brian White would have been a better call-up. And I don't know why he continues to be in the squad, but I don't know. Maybe even Josh Sargent would be competing, but I'm really hoping that DK, De La Torre, Scally, I'd take Yedlin, John Brooks, and Ethan Horvath make the team, but hey, it could be could be anything. Maybe I want Sean Johnson over Ethan Horvath because, I don't know, Horvath's not playing at all, and you don't really want to reward that. So, I don't know. Maybe Sean Johnson, I'd like to see him, but yeah, that's about it for this squad. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if we ran this team out in World Cup qualifying, we wouldn't qualify. I think we'd get shut down pretty easily. So it's tough to be excited about this team. And aside from Slonina, there's nobody who I'm really sold as a prospect. I like Djordje Mihailovic's upside. I like Cole Bassett's upside. I like George Bello's upside. But I don't really think they're going to be elite players. Maybe Miles Robinson's probably the only guy I'm really excited about in the squad. Matt Turner as well, I guess, but not the greatest team. But hey, these guys will get some workout, come into games fresh. I'm looking at this team. I only hope one of these guys starts, and that's Miles Robinson. But yeah, that's it for this team. Interesting squad. I can't pretend that I'm excited about it, but hey, I don't know. That's all I really talk about with this one. See ya.